here today with Kelly Ahuja, President and CEO of Versa Networks. We're talking about the very popular topic of SD-WAN. Versa, very involved from day one. Talk about what's the business case for SD-WAN?
So yeah, thank you, Sterling. And there's a very compelling business case that's coming up for SD-WAN for the enterprises. Now what they're trying to do is multiple things. One, they're trying to drive more agility in the business. They want to move fast, and the moves, adds, and changes that they do in security and network take too long. And for the digitization of the enterprise, they want to do that. Second is they want to do this, increase visibility and control. They want application level visibility and control to be able to drive things. And the third is they want to do this at, not increasing the cost dramatically, but do it at the same cost, maybe little incremental cost. So what are the examples of enterprises and what they're looking for? Some of the trends that we're seeing is enterprises are adopting and embracing SaaS-based applications, Office 365. Second is they're moving workloads from private clouds to public clouds. And the third thing is they're embracing new technologies and capabilities, whether it's video or even guest Wi-Fi at the branch. Now many of these traffic types, they want to be able to make a decision at the branch and say, I want to take this application, assign this priority and this path. And many of those they want to offload to the internet directly at the branch if it doesn't need to come all the way back to the corporate data center. And that provides a very compelling advantage for the enterprises to go deploy SD-WAN.
I know a lot of your early deployments are based on this function of multi-tenancy. We hear it from you, we hear it from your customers. Can you tell us what is multi-tenancy and why is it so important?
Multi-tenancy is really critical, and I've been in the carrier space for so long. For every operator, multi-tenancy is essential in terms of how you build an environment and keep the complexity low, right? So for example, in the old days of building MPLS networks, right, we would take a big router and take each port and drive multi-tenancy from that environment. In the software world, you need to do the similar thing. You need to be able to slice each component, both the data plane, control plane, and management plane. Now that's what SDN should be able to do. And nobody does multi-tenancy the way we do it in the industry. Now why is that important? Well, for an operator, if they want to be able to deliver service to an enterprise, they want to be able to take the same instance or an SD-WAN controller, for example, and use that same SD-WAN controller for multiple enterprises. Second, they want to be able to take that same visualization system that they have, that we provide them, and want to be able to provide visibility and control to their operations team at the whole network level, to the WAN manager at an enterprise for their only network, and then inside the enterprise, they could slice it to a branch manager, or maybe a network engineer or a security engineer, and really have them get their own visibility. Now to an enterprise, also multi-tenancy is really critical and important. So I'll give you an example of a bank that actually was talking to us with a service provider. They said, Kelly, we like segmentation at the branch. And what are the segments at a bank that you might think about? Well, ATM machines are a segment. The retail banking is a segment, and maybe there's wealth management or private banking is also a segment. Now each one of these segments have their own sort of line of businesses that want to separate out the traffic that has to go across them. And a lot of that traffic could be going into the corporate network, or there could be a guest Wi-Fi available too. That's also another segment that could be going directly off to the internet. Now, each one of these segments may be individually divided for traffic going to the corporate VPN, or amongst those segments as well. So one example is the bank said, well, we're putting facial recognition in at the bank for the retail banking at the tellers or even at the ATMs. And now we want to be able to provide that facial recognition information to each one of the tenants, not back at the data center, but actually at the branch. And using Versa's capabilities of segmentation as well as integrated security and networking, they can easily do that all in software.
All right, you mentioned banking and you mentioned security. Public internet, SD-WAN, how do you assure security? How do you get these secure networks for enterprises?
Yeah, this is kind of really interesting because today's environments in corporate networks, the branches, all the traffic coming out of the branches originates from there and goes all the way to the corporate data centers, and that's where the internet perimeter is. As you move internet connectivity right to the branch, you now need to put security at the branch as well, because you got to protect all the perimeters of the enterprise. And Versa is the only vendor in the industry that integrates networking and security. Our software-defined security solution allows enterprises to deploy that security capability all the way out to the branch level. And the reason why it's software-defined security is you can define the policy once, and that policy gets implemented to a device group or number of sites in one instance. So the ability to not just configure it, but also do moves, adds, and changes, simplifying that, gives the enterprise that agility.
All right. One last thing we're hearing about quite a bit fairly recently is this concept of universal CPE. Wonder if you can explain out universal CPE and how that relates to SD-WAN.
Sure. Well, actually, let's talk about all the different models that are out there today. Well, first one is virtual CPE. What a virtual CPE is that you have a very low NID, a low functionality NID that's sitting at a branch, and it's only got a single connection. And all the traffic at that branch or that remote site is coming into a data center or cloud, and whether it's security, routing, or all the functions are all happening at that level. Now we support that. The second model is the universal CPE. The universal CPE is really about taking all of these functions, maybe not one single VNF, but multiple VNFs, and putting them on a device, a hardware platform at the branch itself. So think of universal CPE as multi-VNF from different vendor and being integrated together and doing lifecycle management of those. Now Versa is unique because we also have another model that we support, which is we take a lot of the things that you would need multiple VNFs for and integrate that into a single VNF. So you can actually run that bare metal on an appliance, x86 box appliance, and that's just a CPE model, an appliance model that you can run. So we support all those three models today.
Great. Interesting market, and you guys seem very well placed. Thank you for spending some time with us.
Thank you, Sterling.